Hi everyone, I recently made the video about the PUV modernization program and there have been so many questions and today I'm sitting next to the person who's basically responsible for the program, Usec Tim. So thank you very much for giving us your time today.
Thank you as well.
There have been so many questions and I guess part of it is that you're still trying to finalize the details yourself.
Well, not really. Well, first of all, understandably so that we have a lot of apprehensions and questions about it. It's a program that's really going to cause drastic change.
Right.
But in terms of preparedness, this program has been planned long before our administration. In fact, several administrations ago, this should have been implemented. And I guess the only reason why this is now being implemented is that we have a president that has a political will to do so. So,
I mean, I saw him in the news recently saying, you know, by January I want to see some. Of course, not everything's going to happen. It can't happen overnight. But do you think you can really get maybe even a pilot program by January?
I think one thing that we need to understand about the program, the modernization program, it's not just about the vehicle. It's a total environmental change with regards to PUV usage as a transport component. And the first component of the program is to have what you call the checking of roadworthiness of vehicles. That is the MVIS.
Okay.
And that will definitely happen by January. Again, this has been long been planned and never been really implemented fully. So for the first time, you will have the full implementation of the MVIS, initially with the public utility vehicles, initially with the jeepneys, come January, arriving by December around 36 units of the motor vehicle inspection facilities that will now be placed nationwide come December. So that's the first step. So if what the president said, I remember he said, tanggalin ang bulok na jeepney. And definitely that will happen, that will start to happen by January.
Because one of the problems right now, if you look at the average Jeep on the road, is they have no grip on the tires, the brakes aren't that great, they don't have working lights.
Yeah, lights, they turn it off in the evening, which until now I don't understand why.
But maybe it's happens to save gas, but it would be so minimal. I don't understand it.
The MVIS would check 61 items on a particular vehicle.
Okay.
It is online and therefore it cannot be, there is no point for human intervention. So it's purely computerized, automated, and what you have is an honest assessment of your vehicle. According to Zenny Morana, who's a known operator and transport persona, she says that if this happens, more than 40% of all vehicles on the road, of all jeepneys on the road, will be taken out. So that in itself is the start of your modernization.
Right. That's true. That's a good point. And actually, that's one of the things that people have been worried about is, of course, like you say, it's not just about replacing the old vehicles. There's so much more to it. But people worried, even if we get these new vehicles, are they going to be maintained? And I guess that program's going to help with that as well. I mean, for the first X amount of years, you don't have to worry because they're brand new. But if you're thinking long term, you don't want to fall back into the same old thing where the vehicles are ran into the ground with poor maintenance. So
that's true. Maintenance won't be an issue at least for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
But one more component of the modernization program is to push for consolidation of all transport groups. Rather than have a single operator, you will have here the push for cooperatives, corporation, or consortium. Now, which means as the economies of scale will work into the favor, rather than you worry yourself by your own, now you have a group.
So one of the arguments against that I've heard from a couple of transport groups is that it's helping big corporations, but it's going to damage the jeepney driver. Like, they're not going to be able to really benefit from this. Do you think that's true?
Oh, well, 2 points there. Will it benefit the big corporations? Yes and no. Definitely, you'll have the manufacturers coming in to produce the vehicles, but it doesn't mean that you're getting it only from them, no? Will it help the small operators? Yes, because with this kind of program, they will make more money than what they are currently experiencing now. Why? you have a vehicle that is Euro 4, which means you have a more efficient vehicle, and they equate it around 43% more
So you're
efficient.
spending less money on diesel
Yes.
every day.
You have a vehicle that can carry more passengers, from 16 passengers, now you can carry 30.
Okay.
Not to mention, of course, the long-term advantage or the benefits such as for the safety and convenience of passengers. So, does it really benefit corporations, and does not benefit small town operators? I would like to say it will benefit all of us, especially the commuters. So we shouldn't focus on one particular group, but the more important group, which are the commuters.
The commuters. And from what I've seen, a lot of the manufacturing, or at least assembly, certain parts of it will be done locally anyway. So there'll be job creation from this local manufacturer.
We have not equated, but according to DTI, when I had that one meeting with them, they're talking about hundreds of thousands of workers to benefit from this program.
Right. And to go on to another topic, something that I've heard so much about, or so many people asking me, how about PWD, people with disabilities, support under the new?
Oh, definitely. The doors. One of the primary consideration here would be to give access to our PWDs. The doors are wide enough for them to come in. The steps are low enough for them to come in as well. You don't see that in the present jeepneys that we have.
That's right.
More for the buses, because you have you would have versions that would tilt. You would have versions that would have their own elevated platforms, or that would go down for PWDs. Definitely, they're one consideration. The mere fact that you have the doors on the side is a major consideration, not just for PWDs but for all commuters as well.
But when it comes to specifically wheelchairs, for example, that's one question I've been asked. Can we expect to see that in the average modernized jeepney, support for wheelchairs, like with a ramp, for example?
The ramp, yes, that is part of it, but not in all, because as I said, it can be because of the lower steps. But in most of the prototypes that I've seen, you would even have a space for people that for their wheelchairs. So I guess that would help.
Okay, excellent. So there are so many questions that we could ask. In fact, my inbox every day is full of people messaging me, but I know you're busy. So one thing that I like is that I can ask you questions and you actually give straightforward answers, and you know what you're talking about, and I guess that's why you're leading the PV modernization program. So for those that are watching, if you do have any questions, put them down below, and hopefully we can try and convince you to give us more of your time. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
If you did enjoy today's video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.